Good morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, April 12th. Looking at precipitation the past 7 days, uh, quite dry across most of the geographic areas, except for parts of eastern Idaho and uh, western Wyoming. Even there, just a quarter to half inch amounts, but it peters out quite a bit as you head further south. Negligible amounts as you head south of I-80. You can see the percent of normal on the right-hand side. That dark red color is anywhere from 0 to 5% of normal for this time of year. So you can see in a very dry winter and spring, we had an exceptionally dry week. With that, our snowpack continues to dwindle very quickly. Percent of normal for this time of year. You can see 30 to 60% of normal across most of the higher terrain of Utah and into parts of southern Idaho as well. Some localized near normal amounts across some of the mountains of north central Nevada, but towards the Sierra front, also about 50% of normal. So most of the higher terrain looking at an early start to becoming snow-free and drying out. And if you refer to our seasonal outlook, has a major role in our above normal fire potential for some of the forest areas and southern central areas as we go into the start of fire season. Another thing of concern is the drought. Exceptional drought, larger in magnitude than we have seen historically since the history of the drought monitor several decades ago. You can see encompassing much of southern Nevada now, as well as most of Utah, and areas that are not in exceptional drought or extreme drought. And we're seeing that creep up towards the Idaho border as well, with a few pockets in Idaho locally near extreme to severe drought. So again, we'll be monitoring this as we go through the next couple of weeks into fire season. A quick look at 100-hour fuels, and what stands out is this area in pink. 100-hour fuels less than 5%. Again, these are midsummer levels in terms of our dead fuels, especially in areas that are still dormant. And the tricky part is we're starting to enter green up in some of our southern areas right now. But as of now, any significant wind event, at least for that afternoon period, could lead to brief large fires where you see those areas in the pink and even a bit further north. But we do have some short-term relief coming our way. So a look at the satellite imagery this morning, a deep upper level low across the upper Midwest, and a little trough here. Kind of hard to see this little kink over southern British Columbia, but this will pivot around and deepen into a closed low across the Great Basin over the next 2 or 3 days. And that could bring cooler temperatures, showers of both rain in the valleys and some snow across the higher terrain of northern Nevada and Utah and points northward. So for today, still under that broad area of the trough. You can see a little kink through here and a little upper low starting to push into northern Washington. Excellent overall dispersion. We see the areas in the white to yellow, which is typically what you would expect under a trough of low pressure. But further south, dryness coming through. Temperatures a bit cooler than normal since we are in the vicinity of a trough. That means cooler air aloft. Looking at the winds, fairly light across most areas, a bit breezy across eastern Idaho. And vertical mixing, excellent, several thousand feet above ground level from the orange to the red shades. But very quickly tomorrow, that little kink that was over southern British Columbia or northern Washington drops down, turns into a closed low. And since the system is intensifying, it's actually drawing up moisture. And that's why this area in green has blossomed up. This is where we'll see cloud cover, higher humidity, light to locally moderate precipitation developing. Still dry down south across southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, maybe far southwest Utah. There will be some concerns there that brief strong winds under still dry surface conditions and very dry dead fuels could lead to some increased short-term fire activity. But in terms of burning, everyone has exceptionally good ventilation or dispersion. You can see the winds picking up off the Sierra front in the brown, gusting to 40, 50 miles per hour. We see 30 to 40 mile per hour winds or higher across the Arizona Strip, southwest Utah, and all through the Snake River Plain. Up north, very high humidity. The southern third, the southern quarter of Nevada into the Arizona Strip and southwest Utah will probably have humidity below 20%, into the teens probably with those gusty winds. We'll have to watch that a little bit. Excellent overall vertical dispersion, no issues there. And on Wednesday, we have a closed low sitting over Wendover, right on the Nevada-Utah border, Areas in the green, cloudy, cool, with showers of rain in the lower elevation, snow probably above 6,500 to 7,000 feet. Excellent overall dispersion. See some strong gusty winds still in southern areas of Utah, but the humidity should be coming up through here. Same thing for the Arizona Strip. Excellent overall vertical mixing. And in terms of precipitation, some much needed precipitation for a good portion of Nevada and Utah. The dark green indicates about a half inch or more, or quarter to a half inch. But unfortunately, our southern areas will still be mostly precipitation free. So that's a big issue from Ely on southwards towards Vegas and the Spring Mountains. Looking further down the road into Thursday, still under the influence of that big upper low, lots of clouds and light showers, although the system will start weakening a bit by then, but still definitely bring some cooling and some higher humidity. Lingering moisture into that upper low Friday. Finally, on Saturday, ridge of high pressure tries to build in across the west coast, and by Sunday, drier air pushes in as a lot of that moisture and what's left of that upper low drops down into southern Arizona and into New Mexico. But excellent overall dispersion throughout the period. Not much precipitation as we go through the end of the week into the early part of the weekend as things dry out. And speaking of drying, the 8 to 14 day outlook, April 19th through the 25th on the right hand side, continues with much drier than normal conditions here in the Brown across just about the entire Great Basin, along with above normal temperatures. So again, this is something to keep in mind as we are looking towards an earlier start to the fire season. Please refer to our seasonal outlooks off our webpage for more information on that. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.